Hi, welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about trade-offs. Trade-offs as an inevitable component of designing software systems and building products. Now, not all systems are perfect. In short, no system at all is perfect. And that's why we trade off some things for other things to take the front burner. When it comes to trade-offs, there are no universally correct choices. You just need to know the why behind your choice over the other. For example, if you are to build a social media application, you do not want to prioritize consistency over availability. Availability is very important to the social media application because you do not want people to come on a social media hub and it's down. So you can trade off consistency, which is the correctness of the data, the up-to-date nature of the data that people are seeing on the platform for availability. You always want your system to be available. So even though the data that they are getting might be still because a server or a node of the server is down somewhere, they are still able to see data, even though it might not be the correct data. But for a banking application, you do not want to prioritize availability over consistency. For a banking application, consistency is important. And what we mean by consistency is important is that when I send money, I want to be able to see my new balance almost immediately. And the guy who is receiving it also wants to see his balance change so he can confirm the transfer I made to him is successful. So a banking application needs that real-time correctness of data. And that's why it's important for us to know the nature of the system we are building and what is important to the system that we're building when we're making trade-offs. Here are three things that you need to do to ensure that you are getting your trade-offs right. Number one is understand the product that you are building. When you have a clear understanding of the product that you're building, you are able to make a choice of what you want to prioritize over what you don't want to prioritize. An example is if you are building a fleet management system, real-time tracking is important to a fleet management system. You want to know where the lorries are, you want to know where the cars are per time on a dashboard in the head office. For example, if it's a logistics company, you want to monitor where each vehicle is and see it real time on a big screen. For you to be able to ensure real-time monitoring or real-time tracking, you need to pay some cloud costs. So you would not compromise on trying to save cost for that feature. So whatever is required to ensure that that feature works optimally and properly, you would pay it. You will not want to minimize cost at the expense of having a properly working real-time tracking for your fleet management application. So it is important that you understand your product and what it needs. That will help you get your trade-offs right. The number two thing to put into consideration to ensure that you're getting your trade-offs right is understand your constraints. Constraints could be budget, could be skills of the members of your team. It could also be time. It could also be regulatory rules, for your industry. Now, whatever it is that your constraint is, by the time you understand what your constraint is, it helps you in the kind of choices that you make. For example, if it's for skill of team members, you want to choose a technology that everybody on the team can learn and can adapt to quickly. If it's for time, what platform or service can we use to deploy this application? Now, understanding your constraints helps you to make your choices. And while you're making your choices, understanding your constraints, you also want to be looking at how optimal this can be if we choose this. Can we change this in future? Now, so these are the things that understanding your constraints helps you analyze before you make your choices. So when you understand your constraints, you are able to make good judgments of the choices you make for the system that you're building. The number three thing that you need to put into consideration to ensure that you're getting your trade-offs right is stakeholder alignment. Your stakeholders range from the C-suite executive for your company. It It goes then to your users, your target audience, the developers, the managers in-house, everybody, product owners, right? When you know what the expectation of the system is from the different stakeholders, it also helps your choices, right? What do our users need? Expectation of the CEO in terms of revenue generating. Once you know how often you guys need to generate revenue, it helps your tech choices, it helps your decisions, right? It helps your architectural decisions. So understanding the stakeholder expectations would also influence your choices of the technologies that you use and the design pattern that you use in building your applications. At the tail end of this is balance. When you know how to balance the stakeholders' expectation with your understanding of the system, you are able to balance performance with user experience, with usability, with security, and um, scalability, of course. You also want to ensure that in your choices, you're making room for extensibility and maintainability of the system, because there are some choices that you make, it's just a dead end, right? At some other point in the future, you would have to start all over again to design and architect your system. So you want to make sure that in your choices, while you're compromising on worth, you are also putting a balance to ensure that your system is extensible and is maintainable. And that's when you can see that you're getting your trade-offs right. Right. If you found this helpful, ensure that you like, give a comment, and share to those who may find it helpful as well. Uh, Thank you for listening.